Following Jesus isn't always easy, but it's not complicated. This is Simple Faith in 5. Each weekday, we take the teachings of Jesus combined with a spiritual discipline and grow our faith in 5-minute increments. Click subscribe to make sure you don't miss a one. Today is the first episode of our new year and the first episode of our entire journey with this. So Happy New Year. Our church is going through 52 weeks on the life of Jesus with the help of Mark Moore's book, Quest 52. And yesterday, we just completed week 1, and chapter 1 is God, Jesus. Now, that's a great starting point for us. So let's start with what Jesus said about himself. Jesus said in John 8:58, I tell you the truth, before Abraham was, I am, for himself. He said, you want to know who I am? I'll tell you, I am God. And the people listening understood him completely. They picked up stones to stone him because this was nothing less than blasphemy. He was a mere man claiming to be God himself, but this mere man made that claim repeatedly throughout his life. Here's a taste from some of his biographical records. I am the Son of God. I am the way, the truth, and the life. The high priest asked him, are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed One? I am, said Jesus. Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father, he says in John 14:9. He said enough to cause people to want to kill him, and they did. But why did this one man's death impact all of human history? At first, you would have never seen it coming. He was born in a small, obscure village of somewhat questionable repute, the child of a peasant woman. He didn't go to high school or college. He never visited a large city. In fact, he never traveled more than 200 miles from the place where he was born. He never wrote a book. He never held public office. And he was only 33 or so when the tide of public opinion turned against him, prompting even his closest friends to abandon him. He was then turned over to his enemies, and he was nailed to a wooden cross between two criminals. While he was dying, his executioners gambled for his clothing, the only property he had on earth. After he died, he was laid in a borrowed grave, basically through the pity of an acquaintance. Yet today, he is arguably the central figure of the entire human race. His life even marks our concept of time. Even when people want to get super politically correct and remove the Christian overtones and call this the Common Era, or CE, and before the Common Era, BCE, it's still the life of Jesus that marks the divide. And there's no doubt he lived. No scholar, no matter where they stand on Christianity itself, denies that the man Jesus, the one the Bible talks about, existed in time and history. You find him listed in the writings of many, including the first century Greek writer Pliny the Younger, a lawyer and author of ancient Rome, and the Roman historian Tacitus and Suetonius, as well as the Jewish historian Flavius Josephus. Of course, the most detailed record is found in the Bible, and that gives not one but 4 independent eyewitness biological and biographical accounts written by the man Matthew, the man Mark, and Luke, and John. More than a few historians have noted that Jesus is the most documented life in all of ancient history. So we know he existed. We also know a few other things for certain. We know that his teaching was of such a compelling nature that to this day it's part of our cultural ethos. Whether it was memorable lines such as, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or timeless stories like the prodigal son, no one has ever been more spiritually or culturally influential. We also know that the miracles were attributed to him. Whether you buy into the possibility of miracles or not, people who witnessed his life said that he did them. And we know that after a public ministry, he was sentenced to death through a Jewish and then Roman legal process. We know on the 3rd day after his execution, there was an empty tomb. No one denies that. A stone was rolled away and the body was gone. Even the Romans guarding it owned that. And we know his followers went running around the landscape saying that Jesus had risen from the dead and that they had seen him, talked with him, and touched him. This wasn't just one of the disciples making this claim, or even just a handful, but all of them. There are even records of groups numbering in the hundreds who witnessed the resurrected Jesus at the same time. After that first Easter, the Jesus movement exploded. By AD 100, there were around 25,000 Jesus followers. By AD 310, there were 20 million. and today there are billions. But the one that matters most is you. Has he become the Lord of your life? So each week of our journey, we're going to practice a spiritual discipline to help us grow in our faith. And this spiritual discipline that we'll have this week is one called centering prayer, where we take a simple, short prayer that we pray repeatedly, perhaps throughout the day. There are simple ones in our scriptures like, "Be still and know that I am God," or "My soul finds rest in God alone," or an ancient one that just simply says, "Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sinner." But today and this week, here's the one I want us to focus on. Jesus, will you make yourself known to me this year? Give Jesus a year, he'll change your life. So that's where we're going this year. Hope you join us. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you get it every single weekday. Have a great day, and as always, keep it simple.